Hear the Sasquatch howling in the night. Paranormal beings come out to play. Feel that chill upon your neck. But do not fear when the Rougarou barks, because we'll follow you into the dark. We'll follow you into the dark.
Into the Dark contains subject matter and language that may be unsuitable for younger listeners. Listener discretion is advised. Hello, greetings, and welcome to NWCS, Into the Dark podcast, episode number 50?
50.
50. The big 50.
50.
This episode is going to be all about the Vatican.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy, indeed.
So, Danny,
Yeah.
I got to say,
You got a bone to pick?
yeah, no, I don't have a bone to pick, but you should have a bone to pick with me, I guess,
Yeah.
because I've said,
Tell me about it.
I've said, hey, how do you take good things and make them creepy? I've been busting your balls about that, but then I choose the Vatican. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah. It's
Well,
I mean, it
comes
started
around-
off nice and wholesome.
Comes around, goes around.
Yeah. You just can't help it sometimes, you know?
I mean, I will say there's some pretty creepy things about the Catholics and the Vatican and the history, and we're going to get into all that.
Most of the
That's a
group
thing.
didn't even participate in this episode, so
Who?
I wonder if most of the group.
Right.
It's just
Maybe
the
they're
three
out
of us
celebrating.
today.
Yeah. With that being said, in the studio this evening, we have myself, we've got Tab,
Hello.
and we got Dan Burr, all the way from...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
All the way from somewhere
been
in
a little
California. And then there was
Somewhere.
3.
Yeah. What's the deal?
Just like that.
50.
Lucky number 3.
50 episodes, and we've lost... How many people?
I know. We expand the walls in here.
I know.
and
We get a
then
brand new, shiny
when
studio.
we could have got smaller.
Right.
They all ran away. Just like that.
Where is everybody?
I don't know.
Let's check in with them and see.
Jesse?
Jesse?
Jesse.
No.
No.
Rob?
Rob.
Robaba with 37.5 Bs.
No, not here.
No.
Joey? Joey.
Joey's here, yeah.
No,
Oh.
he's not. He's not.
Womp womp.
Gosh, I forget the other
What's
guy's
that
name.
one
It's been
guy?
so
Yeah,
long.
It's
What?
like
The little guy.
Pablo?
Pablo.
Pablo.
No.
Tito.
I think it
No.
sounds like his last name.
Jermaine.
What?
Roni.
Dave.
Dave.
That's the one.
Oh,
Dave. Wavy
Dave.
Davy. Yeah.
Dave,
This
Joey,
would have been a great
Rob.
episode for him to be here for.
It would.
For
Why?
I'm just, I've heard him talk about it.
You know what's difficult about having you on the screen over there, Danny?
Yeah. Tell me about it.
Oh, well, I've got my spectacles on, right? And they're reading spectacles.
So he's a blur.
Right, so I can see what I'm reading because I'm old. But then I
Yeah.
look up at you to see you laughing and it's such a good time, and I can't see you. It's just a
blur.
Yeah, a dark
I have the
colored
opposite problem.
dark colored blur. It's all I see. It's weird.
I actually have my glasses on for distance, but the computer is a little smaller. The screen is a little smaller than I'm. So I'm kind
So
of
you're
halfway
having
in
to
between.
squint.
So I'm doing
Yeah.
this. I'm doing this old man thing where I've got my glasses on the bridge of my nose, and then so I can look down, but then I
Yeah.
can look over the lenses to see you like a
There you go.
old school marm.
There you go. You're like one of those old guys in the mall that used to be like, "Hey, what up, shouty?"
One of those old,
top of your
one of those
top
old,
of your glasses.
one of those old guys in the mall that used to take you by the hand to the restroom and
Yeah.
What?
touch your no-no
Whoa.
square. What? That was weird.
That is weird.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything
What's
new?
the topic about?
Anything
Oh,
new?
yeah, yeah.
Anything new with the group?
Well, I got
Anything
over a
new?
cold. So I might cough every once in a while, so I apologize to everybody.
No boy. You got the vid, the Rona.
I don't care.
Can we say that out loud now? Is
No.
that- oh.
You can't say the
We,
code.
we can't talk about that anymore because that didn't actually exist.
Yeah. Well, that's a conspiracy.
That was a figment of your imagination, Dan Burr.
Can't get it if you don't get tested.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Anything new?
Hot-
Anybody
hot
have anything new?
topics.
What is new?
Well, we got a new studio. It's
Yeah, new studio.
pretty impressive, if I do say so myself.
Yeah.
It's
How did
huge.
we did our first episode in there?
We
in
did with your
person
mom. Your mom
with my
was here.
mom.
Yeah, how's mom?
Mom is good. I just talked to her yesterday a couple times.
Yeah,
but
we got to
she's-
call. We
she's
got to call
good.
all our moms tomorrow.
Yes, exactly.
It's Mother's Day.
Hi,
Sure
Danny's
they do.
mom.
Yeah.
We'll just say hi for now.
By the way, her name is Nora.
I know, but I didn't think you wanted that on the air, so I just
It's
I call
fine.
her Danny's
She's
mom.
okay with it.
Yeah. Okay.
Just like that.
Hi, Nora.
We'll beep it out.
Like Nora the Impaler.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
What was that? Anyway.
What else is new?
Yeah. What's new with Scott?
Nothing really. I feel like we have a lot to discuss since our last episode was our first episode in like a year and a half.
Yeah.
And I feel
Yeah.
like we've done a lot since then.
Yeah.
We went to New Orleans. Did we talk about New Orleans on
We always talk about New Orleans.
your trip, Danny's trip? Did we talk about that?
No, not
don't-
Danny's.
I don't think that we podcasted since Danny went. Have we?
Really?
I don't think we have.
What was the episode before? It was Hollyweird, yeah?
I don't know.
I don't remember if we
You're
went-
asking tough questions,
Yeah.
buddy.
I mean, my memory only goes back a few months,
Yeah.
and then it's just a blur.
I think we did Hollyweird right before Easter. Well, not right before, but that was the last episode before
right
Easter.
last year.
Right. That was like
yeah,
a year and
it
a
was
half
last
ago.
year. Yeah. What was before that? Do you remember?
I don't know, man. Like I can't remember what I had for lunch yesterday. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was
You,
pretty
you
sure
had
it
a
was
bologna
cereal
sandwich
killers.
today. That's about as far back as I can go.
I slept at a Motel 6 last night. So, you know.
Did you? By yourself? Or
feeling good.
you have a little lady friend with you?
No, by myself.
Oh.
I didn't really, but you know.
All right, so tonight we're going to talk about the Vatican.
Yeah.
It's
This looks long and complicated. There's 3 pages here.
those are just ideas. Those are notes.
These are
You can
3
choose. You
pages of
can
notes?
choose. Yeah, you can choose to say, "Oh, that looks like an interesting topic. Maybe I'll talk about that."
Well,
but-
what is the Vatican, though?
The Vatican is a
city, isn't it?
a temple of sorts.
It's a city.
So tonight we go into the shadowy heart of the world's smallest country, a place of divine power,
country.
sacred traditions, and some of the strangest secrets in human history. Welcome to the Vatican. Oh. Anyway, Danny, what do you got?
The Vatican, is it a city or is it a country? I don't know. Or is it both? Well, as I understand it, the Vatican is a country.
But it says city-state.
Yeah.
It's the
It
smallest.
operates
It's the smallest country in the world, covering 0.2
Miles.
square miles.
2 square miles.
But I think it's Vatican City.
Yeah.
There you go. Maybe
Like-
that's the capital.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like New York State in the country of New York.
Why do you suppose something like the Vatican has this carve out within another country? It's almost like it annexed itself, yeah?
Yeah, so they wouldn't be
It's
applicable.
kind of like the District of Columbia.
It's kind of like Disney World
Yeah.
in Florida, where they've
Okay.
sort of annexed themselves into their own country, so they don't have to
Yeah.
be, bound by the rules of Florida.
Why do countries do that? So is DC sovereign?
To their way, I guess, of...
Yeah.
I think we're getting a bit off topic.
Well, that's my fault. Sorry.
We're talking about the Vatican.
I'm sorry.
Well, I'm just trying to understand the intent behind it. Makes sense to me, the analogy to DC, or the comparison, but why do they? Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
There's some legalities probably that none of us understand.
Right. Maybe it's a conspiracy theory too. Who knows?
Right.
When did the Vatican start?
Well, it was created by the Lateran Treaty of 1929, to be exact.
But that doesn't go very
Oh.
far back.
They have their own postal system, and they have their own army.
But it was before that.
It was created by the Lateran Treaty of 1929.
That's
That may be when it became. I think Danny needs to do his research.
I am asking a prompting question, but yes, that's the same that I have. Is the
Right.
Lateran
But I
Treaty
can't,
of
I can't see.
1929?
I mean, their archives are just enormous.
Well, And I should say this is when it became officially.
Official, yeah.
Officially, yeah. Of course, it existed before, before that in different versions or iterations, but
Okay.
kind of it received its own sovereignty, its Independence Day, if you will, in
Okay.
1929.
That makes sense.
This army you speak of, apparently it's guarded by the Swiss.
The Swiss Army.
Yeah, which is, let's not put the rim shot in there, but why do you suppose it's guarded by the Swiss? Where are Swiss people from, by the way?
Switzerland.
Switzerland? Why do you suppose they have it guarded by the Swiss, I wonder?
Because their citizens are armed.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's a good question. I mean, I don't know. It seems there's lots of interesting things.
Their flag looks like the Knights of the Templar.
Yeah, that's a true thing. Yeah, it'd be an
I
interesting.
mean, these are all guesstimates. I don't know.
Yeah,
Because they're a bank. Because the Vatican wasn't that one of the first banks?
What kind of currency does that country use, Danny?
That is a fantastic question. Let me check the Googles on that.
They use the euro in their country, but
Interesting.
they're not a member of the European nation, which is weird. But they have their own post office. They have their own radio station. Can you imagine how thrilling that radio station probably is?
See, yeah.
They have
Even-
one radio station. What do you think it plays, Danny? The
I'm pretty sure
Vatican
it's-
Radio, VRO.
It's very similar to
VRO.
Radio Goldfield, I'm pretty sure. They play the same. I'm pretty sure it's the same, morning show and late night, Friday night dance party
Do you think it's all in Latin?
with the banjo. Yeah. It's interesting. I do see some similarities too, and it makes sense, I guess, to, like I said, with DC, but then a lot of things are separate, like completely separate. It's something I'm just thinking about as we're talking, the reason for that. Why do they do that? But then they have so much influence outward of that place.
Right.
It's like, who are they accountable to in the end?
I think that's a big part of the question is if they have to do some sort of an investigation Vatican-wise because they have so many secrets in their basement and
Right.
that they basically have their own, I would suspect with their own country, that they have their own judicial system and their own court system
Yeah.
that's exclusive to them because of the amount of power and secrets that the Vatican owns.
Their clergy. How many are in the clergy? Do we know that?
Oh, I mean, they're international, so...
I know, but when they're all together, like in the movie, it just seemed like there was hundreds of them.
They're doing their conclave. 108 to be specific. Showed up for the conclave anyway in the movie. But
Right.
how many there are in real life, I'm not sure.
I didn't get invited to that.
You didn't get the memo?
No, to the conclave.
I
Did you?
declined. I was busy. Yeah.
Did you?
I was
You did?
busy.
Oh, you were
Yeah.
busy.
Yeah.
I figured with a podcast like ours that they would, want
Dude,
our,
Well,
They would want us like right there, front and center.
maybe not as part of the religious movement of it, but maybe it is advisors or something like that.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Little input from us.
But my problem would have been I don't have my real ID yet, so I probably wouldn't have been able to get there.
Yeah, getting there.
And to make matters worse, they're their own country. They had their own passport system. Did you guys know that?
You have to have your own passport. See, this just gets weirder.
They
and
have their
weirder.
own passport.
What other area functions that way?
Yeah.
It's
Point
like don't
I don't know. Sounds like a
Don't
lot of
look
secrets. Lots of
don't
secrets.
look in, but we can look out, right?
Right.
For a country
No
that's
looking in.
about 110 acres.
Yeah, exactly. It's an
Point
interesting
0.2 square
quandary.
miles. You have to have your own passport to get it. But I wouldn't have been able to go anyway. The next
busy.
conclave they have, I should probably have my real ID by then. So
You should be good.
Might be
I would
good.
think you should get a front row seat. Maybe they'll let you into the conclave.
Yeah.
A little.
Speaking of conclaves, so we have some missing people in our group, right? I'm not sure if they're ever going to come back, but they're missing, momentarily missing,
MIA.
which means a couple of different things, right? First thing, we can talk smack about them this whole episode and they can't defend themselves.
Maybe that's why they're not showing up.
And we have 2 episodes. So without
Two
these.
episodes of SmackDown.
Yeah, so they're going to get a smackdown. Remember that, Danny, because they can't defend themselves. And second of
Yeah.
all, if they're dead or whatever, and we have to bring in new members, I
Yeah.
feel that we should have sort of a conclave type environment to bring
Oh.
in new members
Does that mean new outfits?
where we're sequestered in the studio. And I mean, obviously people bring us food and stuff. We're sequestered in the studio until we decide who we want as the new members. We have to vote on it. And then we have a little chimney that blows out like smoke and stuff.
Yeah.
And then everybody will be like, oh, who did they decide is a new member? The whole town will be around going, oh, NWCS has our new
How many
member.
votes are we going to do? Are we going to do like 3 or 4 days?
Until it's done.
It doesn't matter. I mean, we're
You have to have
sequestered. We are
majority.
Yeah,
2/3 majority.
we're in it to win it.
Okay.
So like if I
It's
know
going to
there's
be a
I know-
really, really small little poof out of the
Let
chimney.
me-
yeah, it probably
So
won't
let me
be.
one up it. What if we do it in the very first NWCS RV? That's where we get sequestered. The one with the bed in the back.
We don't have that anymore.
Yeah, but we can find it. Yeah, exactly. We're sequestered in there until the work is
No,
done.
we're sequestered here, Danny, because do you remember what's right next door to the studio here in our new, beautiful, large studio
Yeah.
from
Big
all
block
of
Jenga.
our contributors?
Yeah.
What's that?
By the way, hit like and share. A saloon,
subscribe.
a full-size
Oh, yeah.
saloon. So what a better place to be sequestered.
And
Here.
big block Jenga.
And the front door to the studio, there's a secret hidden door that
There
we
is?
could be, everyone's like, oh my gosh, they're in that little room all sequestered. But then we go through our little door there, go around to the saloon, and nobody's the wiser.
And then poof. Yeah, we're gonna be in here for a while, guys. It's gonna be rough, but we'll get to it.
Go.
I'll just light a bottle of gin. What color does that turn?
Okay, I feel like we're getting off track. So that's another thing I was going to say. I listened to the last episode. I realized that I interrupt quite a bit. So I'm not going to interrupt. I'm going to let people talk. And what was the other thing I was going to do?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember.
There's really not very many people to interrupt today.
No, there's not. So it should be
Okay,
a
so, yeah.
little easier for me.
Yes.
A little easier for
Yeah,
me.
nice and smooth.
I'll
Yeah.
raise my hand when I want to speak.
Oh, I've got a little clock on my. I've got a little clock here, Tab, so I can tell you when we're reaching our limit.
Okay. Sounds good.
Let's get back to the topic because this is. I feel like this one's.
This one's tough.
This one's.
This is a little tough for
This one's a little dry. I think we're going kind of slow.
Kind of like the movie.
Yeah, I mean we're getting used to. There's 3 of us and not 17.
Right.
A little bit less ball busting.
That's true.
So we got to just
I
roll
have
with it.
I have some conspiracy theories or some mysteries I can talk about.
Well, I thought
let's do it.
I thought we were gonna bust
Let's
some
do
balls
it.
for a minute.
Let's
but-
get into the meat.
Oh, gross! Nobody wants to get into the meat, Tab.
The meat of the matter.
What do you got, Danny?
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, and so for whatever reason, this is one of those places, and maybe it's because of the secrecy behind it. It's so mysterious, I guess, and
Our studio.
well, that too, yeah. That's
Oh.
probably a good analogy because
Okay, you just
it's like our
interrupted
conclave. Yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry. We're talking about the conclave. My bad.
yeah.
I just
The Vatican,
assumed
the Vatican.
you were talking about the studio. Go ahead. My bad.
Yeah, it's all good. But there's been some reports of different types of mystery or conspiracy theories from there. One of such things is the disappearance of Emanuela Orlandi. This apparently was in 1963. 15-year-old Vatican girl Emanuela Orlandi vanished without a trace. Over the decades, her case has been intertwined with rumors of Vatican intrigue, Cold War espionage, and mafia involvement. Which I never would have saw that coming, but most recently a blogger claimed she was pregnant and died after clandestine abortion, apparently, and a claim of being investigated by Italian authorities. Fresh Vatican inquiries.
I'm sorry. What
What
were you
else?
saying?
I'm just simply sharing some of the recent conspiracy theories reported out of the related to the Vatican. The death
Did you come across any information about the St. Peter's Basilica being built atop a former pagan cemetery?
Oh,
And like
no,
the,
but I
the
think
pagan
I heard that.
the pagan origins in that regard.
Yeah, tell me about it. Maybe this ties into Easter, like we had.
Uh,
Nothing, not so much.
Well, I did my research, but I focused on chronovisor.
Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds sexy.
You want to hear about
What
the
is?
you want to hear about the chronovisor?
Yeah, what's the chronovisor?
Well, the tale begins in the 1960s when an Italian Benedictine monk, Father Pellegrino Neri, claimed he had helped build a time viewing device along with a team of scientists, including the famed Enrico Fermi and rocket scientist Werner von Braun.
Suave.
Werner von Braun, didn't we do a story on them? The brothers that wrote stories? Werner von Braun?
No.
No.
Yeah, it was Wilhelm and
Yakov.
Jakob.
Bless you.
Jakob and Wilhelm. Grimm. Yes, the Grimm fairy tales.
Yeah, so apparently the story goes that this rocket scientist and a variety of other different scientists invented this thing called the chronovisor, which was like a time machine of sort, but it didn't transport you through time, but allowed you to see into the past, like turning into cosmic surveillance footage, like a metaphysical DVR for history. Ernetti alleged that the device used principles of sound and light vibrations, capturing the echoes of past events still resonating through the universe, and he claimed to have witnessed scenes from ancient Rome and even, get this, wait for it, the crucifixion of Jesus.
Oh, wow.
What are you sharing?
The chronovisor. Apparently, it's not sharing like I planned.
Oh, well. The Vatican, when pressed, issued a rather cryptic statement that anyone using such a device risked excommunication, so obviously no confirmation, but no outright denial either, conveniently ambiguous. Skeptics argue that the story is a hoax or a theological metaphor, but believers, they say the chronovisor may still exist, locked away, protected, or hidden in plain sight somewhere within the Vatican. I thought Danny would have this. You had one job, Danny. One
Well,
job.
I'm sharing a screen now, but it's just showing a bunch of random images of this one. Look up
They're
cross
AI.
between a microwave and a 3D printer, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's what it looks like. This looks like a bamboo
And then, yeah,
maker.
lots of pictures of crucifixion. This must be an image that is allegedly captured from the chronovisor of Jesus, apparently.
Why didn't in your Google search put chronovisor Jesus pictures instead of just what did you put there?
Well, it's the same things coming up. And,
The problem
you
is
know,
you're using Google.
oh, is that a thing? Maybe shadow banned because it's real. Oh, there we go. How about that? There's the chronovisor. Now, wouldn't that be something? Talk about conspiracy theories.
Is that the chronovisor for real?
The TV.
Well,
I remember watching cartoons when I was about 3 years old in a TV just like that.
What if when we were watching TV as kids, or now, I guess, what if we're watching the future or the past instead of whatever we think it is, I guess? Maybe that is the chronovisor. Do you think they just mean TV?
Man, we're getting into like the quantum physics of things.
Yeah. I got nothing.
This is going to be an editing fucking nightmare.
That's fine. Well, instead of just doing audio now we have video because we have cameras all over the studio now.
Yeah, well.
So does the Catholic Church still do exorcisms?
They do. Their view on exorcisms have changed since September 2021. A 3-year-old was killed during an exorcism.
Really?
In Texas.
Yikes.
Been several famous deaths occurred during exorcism rituals in the past. In 1976, Anneliese Mitchell of Germany died of dehydration and malnutrition after nearly 10 months of Catholic exorcism. In 2005, Marcia Cornici, a Romanian Orthodox nun, died in an ambulance following an exorcism in which she was chained to a cross.
Weird.
Yeah.
How often do you think they do exorcisms, Danny? Do you think they send somebody out? Is there an exorcism team, like a SWAT team? Do you think, where they're all just they're all waiting in the room in the Vatican, and they're like, Oh, we got a
They
call.
get it in.
Then they jump into an old ambulance that's going, "Wee-er, wee-er, wee-er."
Kind of like the
I picture it's
Ghostbusters.
something like
Yeah.
Team America.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. And they have like tactical vests and they jump
Yeah.
in. And then, in all honesty, how often do you think they like exercise people?
I don't know. I think a lot of it's probably done in secret.
Yeah.
They probably don't want to make a spectacle out of it.
Do
Well,
you
there's
think,
seemingly,
but do you think they
yeah.
respond from the Vatican, or do you think they have like local cells of exorcism
I think it all
specialists?
needs to go through the Vatican before they can endorse it.
Like you
And
have
And
to
that's
likely-
probably why they've changed their.
give an
they're-
official approval or
Yeah,
something.
exactly.
the official blessing.
Now, Scott, not to freak you out, but did you open the door of the cabinet behind you?
I did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I made
It's mysteriously open.
I made a wonderful scene behind you for the camera.
Oh, you did.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I'm gonna pick a bone now.
Okay.
He's picking.
Pick away, Danber.
I was trying really hard. Actually, funny enough, I thought the movie was going to be. Well, I'll talk about that when we get there. But anyway, I just realized you brought up exorcisms in here and demon juju, and all those things you don't like me pulling up. But see how easy it is to just kind of step into it.
Well, Danny, let me just say this: we're talking about the Vatican. The Vatican has some dark, secret history. We're all aware of that.
I can concur.
But it's not Easter. It's not Christmas. There's a difference.
Everything has a dark side.
Danny, don't get me wrong. I struggled because I was like, hey, I'm busting Danny's balls about taking something, good, and
Yeah.
I struggle with it. But the Catholics are a little weird.
Everything-
we love
everything-
our Catholic community viewers and listeners.
course.
We love them, but it's a little creepy.
Everything
I mean,
and
it's just.
everyone-
I think it's. I want to take that back. I don't think it's creepy. I think it's unknown, and I think
Yeah.
the secrecy of the unknown creates a
Right.
right.
If you make it
unknown.
mysterious, people come up with conspiracies.
Right. I mean, the whole Vatican seems creepy, but it's mysterious, and I think we should get in their basement because I would love to see what they have in their basement.
I hear it's pretty big.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Well, we
it
are
is.
experts.
And maybe that's where that little girl got lost. It was in the basement.
the one I just mentioned.
Yes.
Potentially.
I wasn't listening to that, but do you think the coronavisor's down there in the basement?
I think the chronovisor's down there. I think the Ark of the Covenant's
Oh,
down
the
there.
Ark, yeah. Yeah.
You know what I think is
think-
down there?
What?
The Spear of Destiny.
Ooh,
You know
yeah.
what that is?
Yeah,
Educate
that's
us.
the
It's also known as the
sorry.
Holy Lance, and it's a weapon
Yes.
said to have pierced the side of Jesus Christ during their crucifixion.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
carried through time by emperors, conquerors, and madmen alike.
Do you remember the name of the warrior?
That stuck him.
Yeah.
I don't, but you know what I do remember? I
Yeah.
do remember that when he stuck him, according to the Bible, the blood from his side got into his face, and
blinded.
it got into his eyes, and
Or it healed his eyes.
It healed his eyes. Yeah, he had an eye problem, and when he allegedly stuck
Yes.
Christ in the side, the blood got onto his face, and his vision became perfect. And then he was actually eventually killed because he spread the word of the gospel and said, "I'm a believer now." And he felt horrible. He's like,
Yeah.
"Man, he was the real thing. I shouldn't have done that."
Right.
And what was his name?
It wasn't Barabbas, was it?
No.
I heard they cut his eyes out first to
Yeah,
get
they
him
did.
to convert.
Yeah, because
and
they
then
said
he wouldn't.
Yeah, they said, "Tell us you don't believe," and he said, "No, I believe." And so they cut his eyes out.
Good for him.
Yeah.
And then there was some sort of,
And then.
if I understand right, there was this confrontation that happened in some place where there were statues, and he was confronted again with this conversion and didn't and refused to. And I think I heard that the statue was like an earthquake or something. The
Yeah.
statues crumbled or
Longinus.
fell over.
Longinus.
Yeah. And then he got his head cut off.
Longinus. That was his name. Longinus. Longinus.
Longinus?
Yeah.
Call Guinness.
Well, speaking of Jesus, the Shroud of Turin has been in the news lately.
Yeah, they did like a 3D rendering, didn't they?
Yeah, well, I guess I don't have dates, but the first test that they did, they figured that it was made in like the 1600s or something like that.
Right.
but they were taking samples from the edge, and the shroud had been fixed several times
Right.
through the years. And so they've taken
Yeah.
samples from the center, and it's like 50, 80 is what they're coming up with.
Yeah, I don't doubt the Shroud of Turin. I think that that's actually, I believe that.
Yeah. So pretty amazing.
But they took recently with the technology that we have today, they did 3D imaging of the face and came up, this would have been a good time for you to come up with a picture of Jesus.
Oh, I already did.
Oh, you
It's
did?
up. It's up right now.
Oh, it's up.
Look at that.
Future me.
I see. Future tab put it up.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so they did a 3D rendering of the Shroud of Turin, and it's actually pretty cool. And then they found blood. It wasn't on the shroud. I should have probably looked that up.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I just threw that in. It wasn't part of it just came up. And
So legend has it that in regards to the Spear of Destiny, that at some point Hitler saw the Spear of Destiny while a struggling artist in Vienna was in possession of it, and it was seized in 1938. One of his first acts was to confiscate the spear. Hitler believed that it would grant him unstoppable power.
I heard about that.
And then the Allies recovered the spear after World War II, where it allegedly, the alleged spear, rests in Vienna. So they have it. They believe it is the Spear of Destiny, which I think is in the basement of the Vatican.
why keep that a secret? You know? I mean,
I-
really,
well,
why?
Why keep a lot of things secret?
I know. I mean,
that
if
are
you want
secret?
people to have faith, bring them out so people can see them, you know? And I mean, I know faith is faith, but I think concrete.
I think the spear had been like on tour.
Oh, okay.
But then eventually Hitler stole it, and then
It's been lost in war. And
they have it back, but they hid it in a safe place so that
Right.
nobody tries to steal it, I would imagine.
Well,
What's
you know
segment?
one thing we haven't touched on?
What's that?
Extraterrestrials.
Oh,
I don't think that fits in. Oh, you know what? Are you talking about Satan or Lucifer?
So supposedly there's
The
rumors.
Lucifer telescope? Is that what you're talking about?
No.
Oh.
There's rumors that the archives also hold the skulls of a reported UFO crash from 1933 in Italy, and that Pope Plus, is that how you say his name? Pius, sorry.
Pius.
The 12th, personally briefed President Roosevelt about it. UFO researchers like Steve Bassett argue the church has been hiding proof of extraterrestrial contact for decades.
Interesting.
And we don't hear about that because it goes against their belief or the structure, or
There are some that challenge the belief of the existence of, well, I mean, obviously, right?
Right.
There's people that don't believe in religion or Jesus and any of that. And I think there might be a tie-in to, I often hear I shouldn't say everyone, but there's a
Yeah.
secular argument for aliens or the creation, or the simulation piece too,
Right.
so.
Yeah, that they're the creator of the DNA of human
Right,
DNA,
right.
and that we were all
Yeah.
slaves at one point,
Right.
mining gold or whatever they needed us to do, build pyramids,
It was us mining Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. Yeah, that was it. So Scott? What is Lucifer?
Well, the
An
Lucifer,
acronym, Lucifer.
the acronym, what does it mean?
Yeah.
Large binocular telescope. Large binocular telescope, near spectroscope utility, blah blah blah. Anyway, it was nicknamed Lucifer, but funded by the Vatican. And so the Vatican
What put a spin on it?
Yeah, I believe the Vatican, it doesn't say here, but I believe
Don't look.
the Vatican put money into this so that they could determine whether or not there was extraterrestrial life, because they wanted to have the ability to convert extraterrestrial life first. So they invested in this Lucifer telescope, but then they realized that Lucifer wasn't the best sounding name for a telescope.
Right.
So it was
Just
eventually
right off the bat, call him the devil.
Right.
You know, if they do find an alien,
So they eventually renamed it.
covering their bases.
They eventually renamed it Lucy, Luci,
Okay.
Lucy.
instead of Lucifer.
But that makes sense.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Lucy Fur. Her last name is Fur.
So the Catholics want to be the first person to convert the aliens. So they invested a bunch of money in this thing so they can.
Now there's some paintings. I'm just going off memory. There's some paintings that are, I think, even in the Vatican that have pictures of that what look like UFOs in the sky.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what the artist is or whatever, but I remember seeing some documentaries where they had, and they look like. I mean, when you don't, it's not obvious, but when they zoom in on it, you're like, oh, that's a UFO.
I think there's a lot of symbolism within the Catholic religion that you can see on the ancient artifacts that they wear, the crosses that they wear, and some of the things within that.
I mean, it's so out of place. You're like, that it doesn't. Why would the artist render in a UFO into their depiction of a religious image, and then they throw in a UFO?
I think it's funny too when obviously the Pope recently passed away. The Pope recently passed away. They had the funeral for the Pope, which was, from what I saw, some of the stuff was pretty creepy. But I find it hard to believe some of the stuff that you see, because I remember seeing a video of an upside down cross at like what do you call those things that open up? You know when you go through them like
a revolving door?
Not a revolving door, but just like a saloon type door.
Yeah.
Turnstile?
Oh. Yeah, with an upside down cross on it.
The ones that kick you in the butt when you...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then did anyone see when they were carrying it and they had like a bunch of guys with the long, tall, they almost looked like Klan uniforms, but they were black, and it had the hooded, they had hoods over their face, they went really high.
Oh, no, see, I looked into that.
That
is a satanic... That
had nothing to do. Okay,
it had nothing to do with them.
That's why I. Okay.
So we'll debunk that. That was a satanic ritual.
Okay, perfect.
And they tried to say that was the Vatican.
Okay,
it wasn't.
Perfect.
I saw.
Wow.
That.
Good. That makes me feel better.
Yeah.
You guys ready to move on?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's ride.
In a quiet town, in a small studio, it's Northwest Curiosity Society's movie review.
The Pope is dead. The throne is vacant.
What happened? They say a heart attack.
You know how rumor spreads, and 1.25 billion souls watching.
Well Cardinal Lawrence. It seems the responsibility for the Conclave falls upon you. The supervision of this election. This is a duty I never thought I'd have to perform. They are sequestered, and they must be shielded from all news that may influence their judgment. You understand?
No sane man would want the papacy.
The men who are dangerous are the ones who do want it.
That sounds ominous.
I wonder if I could have a word in private.
You look anxious.
Everything under control.
How has this been kept a secret for so long?
We'll never find a candidate who doesn't have any kind of black mark against them.
Although we sisters are supposed to be invisible, God has nevertheless given us eyes and ears.
You should be careful, Thomas.
This is a conclave, Aldo. It's not a war.
It is a war. And you have to commit to a side.
There is one sin which I have come to fear above all others. Certainty. If there was only certainty and no doubt, there would be no mystery. And therefore no need for faith.
So Conclave, Danny, what'd you think? I'm not going first.
Oh boy.
I got to go first. So let me start out and say I
Fell asleep?
I did, but it took me 3 days to watch.
Wow.
I
You were
did- I did-
dedicated.
Well, I fell asleep and then I was like, okay. So, but here's why. When I first saw this preview when it was coming out in the theaters, I really wanted to go see it, but I really thought that there was going to be some of that, scary juju kind of
Right.
demons, Da Vinci Code scary stuff.
Yeah.
The whole time I'm watching the movie, I'm like, okay, where's the demon? Something's
Yes.
going to jump out. Here it comes. But I didn't realize that it wasn't that type of movie.
Do you
that
think
it's
I would
more-
have? Do you think I would have recommended my movie review to be a scary movie?
I was surprised actually, and I really thought that it was going to be. Maybe I just the high hopes going into it. That said,
Yeah.
it is that if we're talking about the way that they portrayed, what a conclave might look like and how that might feel and all that stuff. It's no surprise if that is an accurate depiction. It's no surprise it's got all this sides and these cliques and these ways that people manipulate each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's
to get
human
ahead.
nature. It's human nature.
Yeah.
Regardless of how religious you
Absolutely.
are, there's still liars that are trying to get to the top.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know what, I probably should have looked this up, but I'd be curious to know what those that have participated in an actual conclave would say about it and its depiction of, I'm sure it would be oh no, it's not like that. We're all, whatever. But
Yeah.
I think
it's-
I read that the overall depiction of the conclave process, from the depiction in the movie, from the death of the Pope to the sealing of the Pope's room, I think what makes it kind of unique for us in watching the conclave is that we recently lost a pope.
Yeah.
And
Right.
they showed on the news in these special segments what happens. I remember seeing the sealing of the Pope's room almost exactly the way they did it in the movie,
Right.
where they
Right.
took the wax and they sealed the room.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the white and black smoke. What happens behind those closed doors, I'm not sure that you're really going to know. But what has been said about the movie and the actual process, the conclave process,
Yeah.
is pretty accurate. All of the sideline stuff, I'm not sure.
Well, yeah, the opening scenes, it just seemed like it was systematic. The
Yeah.
way that they prepared the body.
oh yeah, I mean,
How they pulled the ring off his finger. Like,
Lots of
it's
rituals,
like-
yeah.
yeah,
it
it's
was
very
like-
ritualistic.
It's like, get it off and get him out.
Yeah,
It wasn't,
yeah.
it was very sanitary.
Yeah.
I think I heard somebody say, well, ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah. It's like, get him out of here, bag him up. It's like he died on his body bag.
Yeah,
They
Right.
zipped him up, get him out of here.
yeah.
It was very weird.
I think though, it was intriguing and it was very, very slow for me.
Oh, I did
And that's why,
fall
yeah.
asleep too, Danny.
Yeah, Tab and I were behind on our homework, so Tab came out a little bit early before the podcast, and we're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
snap, we got to watch that movie." So we sat on the couch, and then
It's 2 hours.
We both almost pulled a tab.
10 minutes into it.
Yeah.
But I will
yeah.
say that I fell asleep. It was very slow, but it totally seemed, and I knew that we had very limited time. We had to get the studio set up for the podcast. I was like, this is a movie that I think I would enjoy. If I wasn't
Right.
rushed to watch it, if I
Yeah,
knew that
you're
it
in the
wasn't
mindset.
homework, if I was 2 hours before bed and I could
Right.
sit down and watch, I think I would really enjoy it. I liked how it was filmed, the
Yeah.
cinematography of it, but it wasn't. It seemed less religious and more political.
Totally.
To me,
totally.
but I guess that's you look at the Catholic Church
the
and the
rub.
Vatican and you think religion, but everything is tied to politics.
Yeah,
and it
nothing
just-
magical. We're looking at the cogs and the gears. Of
Right. Yeah.
How
Human
it
nature.
works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's just enough drama to keep you hooked.
Yeah.
And, but still, for me, it was just slow. And then I had to check myself on a couple other thoughts. I had to check myself, one, to make sure I got the right version and that I didn't pull a tab and get it in French. There was so many.
Right at the beginning,
you
I
have to
thought it
watch
was
the
all in
subtitles
Latin.
and yeah.
A lot of Latin.
And so It's great, but I just, trying to read and keep up with it, and especially when they get like animated. The one guy was just speaking pretty much all Italian. That's fine. I'm not picking on that, but it was hard to read and then watch the scene. But I gotta say, one thing though that threw me off, and I love John Lithgow, but he didn't seem well placed in that movie.
No,
in my opinion.
It's difficult to find him as a bad guy.
Right.
And he was, for the most part, a bad guy, and you expect him to, trip over something, or
I think Mel Gibson did it best when he picked the cast for Passion of the Christ to keep all new, fresh faces, that you couldn't tie the depiction of Jesus. He just picked somebody that wasn't famous or anything like that, and it kept you on course of that this is something that happened, and
I agree. I thought the same thing, Danny. I was like, John Lithgow, I was like, it's almost like having Chevy Chase play that role.
Right.
I was waiting for like Harry to show up from Harry Anderson. So I don't know. That's not, I love the guy in every movie I've seen him in, but he just didn't seem well placed.
Yeah.
I guess.
I think,
but overall,
out of character.
I love the drama. I mean, everybody, of course, did well. You didn't feel like it was like a crappy movie. They had one setting.
No,
they did a great job going through all the rituals and all the preparation. And then some might say it was a little confusing. Maybe not confusing, but the end was a little abrupt. It just kind of got to it, and there you go. But
Danny, what happened at the end?
They elected a pope. And then it ended.
Okay.
You'll have to watch for yourself to learn. But the process was followed. A pope was elected by the 2/3 majority.
Yeah, they've only got one spot left, I guess, in the Vatican. They don't have another one.
That's a whole nother episode right there.
Yeah, totally.
That's a whole nother episode.
There's just one spot
Are you talking
left.
about the end of the last
new,
pope?
it's an American, I guess.
Yeah.
And
From America.
And there's only one pictorial spot left for a picture of like the last pope. So they're either going to have to make a east wing or a new wing or somewhere where they're going to have to keep going or start painting over old. I don't
Maybe
know.
that's where the Antichrist shows up.
It'll be a computer chip because it'll probably be AI.
Yeah. AI, finish this wall. If we're going to say watch the movie, I think it's worthwhile, but it is slow. It is slow.
Yeah, it is slow.
And it's a drama.
It's not scary at all.
It's not scary.
And it's slow in parts, I believe, where it didn't need to be slow in parts, where they would just have like these cinematic moments that sort of went on for a little too long. I did really enjoy the cinematic moment of the all of the what were they called? The Cardinals, where they had this one group of cardinals that were just smoking cigarettes like one after another.
Oh yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
that was
that's
funny.
totally us.
Like they were in a casino.
Yeah.
Right. Just chain smoking.
Yeah.
And then the apartments that they lived in, they all had key locks. They were card locks.
Yeah,
so they couldn't trust each other.
Why would you need those in the Vatican?
Right.
Yeah, and I didn't realize at the end too, and I understand sequestering, but they have the roll down thing on the outside of the windows. I think when the very end scene, when you notice something comes up, it's almost like there was something on the outside, like a steel curtain or something that was shut. They were truly sequestered, but and locked in, And anyway, you have to have that level of security. But then again, I suppose you want no outside influence.
Right.
But that
You got to worry
in and
about
of
drones.
itself, that in and of itself goes back to what we said earlier, is that they influence very much on a broad scale a lot of people, a lot of things.
Yeah.
Outwardly, but inward, it's a steel trap you can't get in. Fortress, rather.
All right, you guys ready to move on?
Let's do it.
Did you guys do your homework? Did you read the? Did you guys even read the?
I told you.
I did.
I told you I didn't do this. So.
Did you? Read,
I got one.
Well,
you're not gonna.
Did you? Did you read the episode outline? It's just what I'm saying.
I did.
Okay. So we have a new segment.
We do.
The paranormal draft. I'm going to give you guys the opportunity to develop your own ultimate ghost hunting team.
I'm already We have it already.
Made fully. Yeah, I agree.
We just need a Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Named entirely from pop culture.
Oh,
Are we going to
pop-
do this
pop-
and like
pop
go
culture.
around?
Yeah, yeah.
And
So
like,
you,
you can't
Danny,
pick
would
one
say
person.
who,
You can
like
skip me.
three people who you would choose, and it doesn't necessarily have to be from pop culture. I mean, you can say, "Hey,
Yeah.
I think Scott would really be good on my team because he's so good at so many things."
Yeah.
You know, like you can throw me in on there, but it doesn't necessarily only have to be pop culture. So if you had three people that you could bring with you for your ghost hunting team, like the A team, GERT.
Yep.
For your GERT team, ghost response team.
Ghost response team.
Yeah.
Let's make it interesting. What if we go one at a time? One and then rotate.
Okay, that's fine. Because I read the outline, I created the outline, but I have no idea who I want on my team.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So what you're saying is you didn't do your own homework.
No, I did. I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I'm just
You want
saying
me
that
to-
if I had a little bit more time to think about it.
Yeah, we had 3 days when we got this?
Yeah. All right, Danny, you go first.
Okay.
I
You
gotta
want me
go
to just
first.
do one, or you want me to give you my three?
I gotta go first.
I gotta go first. I gotta go first.
Just give us your three, Danny.
All right.
No, just do one. That's fine.
Just do one. Then we'll
Okay.
figure
Okay.
it out from there.
I'm gonna start off here, so you guys can't take them. Number one draft pick in the Paranormal Draft 2025 is
Wait for it.
Shaggy.
Egon Spengler.
Yeah, Spangler. Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir. Egon Spengler, my number one overall pick.
All right.
It's a genius. Why would you not go with Egon?
Right. Who are your other two?
My other two?
Yeah.
I'll save the big one for last, but it's hard. Okay, this one I'm going to count as one because it's a couple. It's a pair.
Mm-hmm.
Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Mm-hmm.
If I could be so bold and just say they count as one.
Do you really think that they're not charlatans?
I don't know.
I mean, I know they were. I'm thankful to them for laying the groundwork for normalizing this type of stuff a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah.
And give credit where credit's due with Zach Baggins as well.
Right.
For sort of laying that groundwork.
I left him for you to
But
pick.
the more I look and research both Ed and Lorraine Warren, it just seems to me like they were charlatans.
What better way to find out?
Yeah, I think.
Okay, so that's your three, because that's.
Give me credit for one on that one.
No, because that's two people.
Well, can we bump it up to 5? Because I got 2 more.
No, you got to choose one, Ed or Lorraine.
Well, I wouldn't pick either one of them then.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Okay, my next one.
Mm-hmm. Well, wait.
I'm gonna
hold
pick-
on. You can't say your next one. It's 3.
Why?
You've already chosen 3. You have to
I
get
wiped
rid of
them off,
Ed
though.
or Lorraine. You're getting rid of both of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought you'd let me sneak that one in there.
No. I'm quick,
All right,
Danny.
so-
My mind
so we
works
got-
like a steel. What do you call those?
Yeah. Whatchamadoodles.
Go ahead.
Whatchacolumns. Lynn Shay. Every character Lynn Shay has played.
I don't know Lynn Shay.
She's they call them Scream Queens.
Okay.
She's played in the Insidious series.
Okay.
She's one of the main characters in that movie series.
Mm-hmm.
But Lynn Shay, she's this I don't know how old she is. I don't want to insult her, but she's up there, and she's still she plays a very good creepy. What do you call those natural? What do you call that when you can
Empath?
Empaths or something like that? Yeah. And then my last one, John Constantine.
Mm-hmm.
That's my.
I don't know.
last
I don't know who that is either.
You don't know John Constantine?
No, refresh my memory.
It's a demon hunter.
Oh, he was the one from
himself.
Greece. The guy from
I don't know if
Greece.
He's from Greece. He's actually American, I think.
No,
he's
the
a
movie,
comic
the
book
show
character.
Did you say
Grease.
Demon Hunter?
The
Danny?
show
Yeah, he's a
Grease.
demon hunter. No. I
John
don't know who that
Constantine.
is. John Constantine. Keanu Reeves did a movie on it years ago. He had the tattoos on his hands, and he did this thing. And then he's actually a comic book character.
Okay. Okay.
But he's a demon hunter. Yeah,
Okay.
that would be my last one.
Okay.
All right. How about you guys?
I will go over mine very quickly because they just popped into my head and I don't want to forget. First of all, my first 2, and I don't even know their names, but Danny, I'm looking for your help here. They were in a TV show and they're brothers and they fight demons.
I'm blanking on the.
Okay, this is gonna be an editing.
It's like
nightmare.
one word.
Come on,
it's
Danny.
right on the tip of my tongue.
I know, me too.
Okay, well, you think about that. I've got my 3.
Okay, and then my,
All right.
my third one is Mr. Rogers, because I just feel like he'll keep everything even keel and happy.
Yeah.
And he can give us like good words of advice and wisdom.
And he can tie your shoes.
What is it, Danny? Come on, the brothers. The
Anyway,
two brothers.
my 3. Harold Hammond.
Harold Ramis. Harold Ramis.
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray. Okay.
And Dan Aykroyd.
Oh, just going straight up for the.
yeah.
Are you taking their real?
I
real
want one of the
characters?
packs. I want.
Wait. Which ones did you pick again? It's Supernatural, by the way.
Supernatural. Okay, the brothers from Supernatural, because they had weapons for everybody and everything. And what were their names? The brother, not the actors, but the show names.
What show was it?
Supernatural. I never watched it, but Trisha did, so I would catch episodes every now and then. It actually
I don't remember.
Super cheesy. Oh well.
Yeah.
Wait, which did you pick? Tab. Did you say Harold Ramis as well?
Yes.
You can't take Harold Ramis. That's Egon Spengler.
Oh.
Well,
why can't I? Okay, fine. We'll throw Scooby-Doo in there.
That's why he went first.
Yeah. I should have said Harold Ramis / Egon Spengler.
You could take the girl Ghostbusters with you that nobody knows their name because it was such a horrible movie.
So you guys ready to move on?
Okay.
we
How about
don't
Rick Moranis.
Rick Moranis.
Yeah.
We don't move on, Danny. This is the end of the episode. We're going out.
I know.
We're going out.
Silly.
Wonderful episode.
I feel. Who won though?
Was it
I
a
feel
game?
like I won.
No, it wasn't a game. It was just.
I think Danny
there's no
won.
prize.
Danny won because he was more prepared.
Was he? Yeah, whatever. Anyway, awesome episode, everybody.
This is a new outro.
And then there was 3.
Twelve candles flicker, shadows kneel beneath the dome. The rites conceal, red robe silence, eyes turn low, but something lingers down below. They buried a king in robes of night, but the bells don't toll, just out of fright. Truth walks halls that saints once trod, guarded by ghosts and the breath of God. Psalms are sung in whispered code, a throne now cold, a fate foretold. Eyes of marble, lips of stone, watch the secrets carved in bone. Mortis pop of evil vox, truth is chained beneath the cross. Keys of Peter locked in flame, no one dares to speak his name. Cloaked in gold, but truth bleeds black. The past won't sleep, it's coming back. Catacombs echo, prophecies spark, and still we go into the dark. Giving rolls of night, but the bells don't toll, just out of fright. Truth walks halls that saints once trod, guided by ghosts and the breath of God. The God, Northwest Curiosity Society, but the bells don't toll, just out of right.
Nighty-night. Bye. Nighty-night, everybody.
Peace out.
What?
Oh yeah.
Don't say that.
I don't know.
What? That scares me.
Word.
What?
Bye.
Nighty-night.